What's going on, everyone? My name is Acapella here, and today I'm bringing you another on a map guide. Today we're going to be going over Nepal. Nepal is consisting of 3 different maps: Village, Sanctum, and Sanctuary? Or no. I forget what the last one's called. I think it's Sanctuary. So yeah, we're going to be going over the different on its positioning spots here on each of the maps. Just kind of tell you that the different places where you can play at, whether that's in a standard comp or whether you're facing snipers. I'll kind of just be showing off the 2 main areas that you're going to be want to take as an Ana player specifically. So we're starting here on Village, and we're going to be starting with standard as well. We have over here in the top right, kind of to show you. So we'll have red for standard and blue for snipers, and then I'll have yellow for where the fights are going to be at. So first fight most likely going to be happening top right here. Both teams usually like to come up through these top right areas first. It's a good first fighting area, and then the fight will slowly transition to point if it isn't won here. So the fight will end up moving over to here. And we'll get going with the positions as well. So when we start here, generally you're going to be wanting to be playing around this little door area. You don't want to go out because it leaves you very vulnerable, but you do want to be playing like right around here. This way you have this cover from the door here, while also still being able to heal your team here. If you're if the fight starts to transition to point, then you're going to be wanting to kind of rotate out and around up to here as your team moves to point. That is, if there's no one up here still like by themselves, right? That's like it's only if you be safe here. Otherwise, if you're not safe, you'll want to be taking this little stair route down to here where you have the cover, so the people up here can't really get to you that easily, and you can even potentially move past to point here. All right, this is for the first fight. So if the fight is lost and your team decides to go top right again, it's going to be the same thing. If they decide to go bottom left, down through here, you'll just be kind of playing around corners, right? You play at this corner again here, and then if your team decides to go to the left, you'll be playing at this corner here. Right? Just trying to stay around cover as much as physically possible. Stay safe so you can heal your team. Now, if your team wins the fight, you're probably going to be looking to take this high ground here. That way, wherever they decide to come from, you have an angle on them, and you have an angle on your team. Whether it's down here, you have an angle over here. Let's get the yellow. Like right here, you have an angle from up here, or over here, you have an angle. That's if you win the fight. And then against snipers, you won't really want to be taking these high ground approaches at all. You'll generally be sticking to these areas where you have cover. So, once again, start up here, but this time you're just going to kind of rotate down to here, and then potentially here, depending on where the sniper's at. And then once again on this side as well. You do not want to be on this high ground at all. Do not play on this high ground against snipers. You'll get your head taken off very easily. So yeah, it's generally about playing safe. There's no real difference. If you win the fight, you'll kind of be chilling around here on point, underneath point, or one of these places that I've already circled. So that's going to be it for Village. We will go ahead and move on to the next one. So we're going to start with standard again here. First fight going to be happening on point, obviously. Teams usually don't like to go top right here for a first fight, so fight's going to be looking to happen here, here, or even potentially here. So standard, just stay in a line of sight with your team, stay pretty close. I'd recommend staying at the bottom of the stairs. If your team pushes deep into point, then you may want to kind of walk up the stairs a little bit to here at the top, but the stairs do give you a good amount of cover. So only push up to here if you absolutely have to. If your team's fighting on the left side here, you can look to hold either at this corner by the statue, or at this corner of the point, or even potentially over here. One of these 3 spots will be good for keeping an LOS on your team, and allow you to keep them healed up. If you lose the fight, your team will pretty much be looking to do the same thing. Just kind of stick behind your team with cover. Here and here are good spots when you're recontesting after a lost fight. If you lose and you look to take a route from the right, you can stay up here. You can sit on these stairs, or you can sit right here behind this little structure. It's a little house thing. I don't know exactly what it is. So yeah, this will be recontesting. If you're looking to hold after you win a fight, fight's most likely going to happen here. So what you want to be doing is just kind of chilling on point, and then as the enemy team pushes up, you'll kind of want to backpedal to behind this center thing, either here or here, depending on where your team's playing at, and it'll allow you to keep that cover while your team is fighting. That's going to be the biggest thing. Is you don't want the enemy team to really see where you're at, and you want to give yourself as much cover and as much safety as possible, especially when they're running like stuff like McCree, Reaper, Doomfist, that kind of stuff. So against snipers, extra emphasis on this cover once again. If you absolutely, you don't want to be moving up here if you absolutely unless you absolutely have to again. So we're going to be starting down here at the bottom of the stairs, and then look to hold either here or here, depending on where the sniper's at. Because generally snipers, they'll either take this high ground on the top right here, or they'll be looking from this far left, right? So LOS, if they're on the right here, you're going to be wanting sitting on the left side so they can't see you. If they're on the left here, you're sitting on the right. Makes sense. From the right side, obviously, make sure you know where the sniper's at, but once again, kind of chilling around this center area, as well as these structures over here, these pillars, are where you're mainly going to want to be holding, and just making sure those snipers cannot see you whatsoever. Keep in mind, if a sniper picks you early and you don't have a mercy to res you, it's going to be very, very hard for your team to push, even if they get a pick or two early, because you are the main healer for your team. So these are the main spots for here. I believe this is called Sanctuary. I believe this map. So get one last look at it, and then we will go on to the next one as well. So starting out right off the bat, fight's going to be happening generally in two or three places. It can happen on this right side, but it doesn't happen very often just because of how cramped it is. So fight's either going to be looking to happen on point here or on the left side. And standard, pretty straightforward here. If you're on the left side here, you're going to be playing on these stairs once again, or on this health pack back here, depending on how aggressive your team is. You can even start at this health pack and then move up to this position, and then even further if your team keeps pushing. But generally just keeping yourself around this cover, then in case you get dove, or in case you get rushed down, you have this health pack back here to rely on to keep yourself up. If we start a fight on here on point, depending on which direction your team comes from, if the left or the right, you can chill back here, or you can chill at these stairs. Once again, you can even kind of rotate over here so you have this health pack. This health pack is going to be huge to play around, as this is like the main area that I want to see you play at, even after the first fight. This is just talking for the first fight here. This is kind of the rotation you're going to be taking. And then we'll talk about this one real quick as well. On the right side, just kind of play around this doorway, push in if you have to heal your team. But this one right here, this spot that I have circled, is going to be your big position, right? Whether you're attacking or defending, this is where you're going to be wanting to play at, right? Let me see if I can circle this in multiple colors just to show how important it is. Oops. Erase this. This position is so incredibly important because you get to see everything on the map. Everything that's happening is right here. That looks really ugly. I apologize. Let me get rid of that. Anyway, it's gonna be orange because it's special. This is the big important one. All right. Right here is where you're going to be wanting to play at all times. When you're recontesting, you can look to play here. When you've won a fight, generally you can stick here. Even if your team is going to want to push up and hold choke, this is still where you're going to want to be holding at. Just slight variations depending on how far your team is, right? let's say they push here, you can't really see them from here, so you just kind of walk up to here, to right here, if you have to. But this is your key spot that you're going to want to be playing from every single time. This gives you the most value. It gives you like sightline on the entire map pretty much, except for this right side. But you know, there's not a lot happening on this right side usually. It'll allow you to hit antis off of this wall. It'll allow you sightline onto your entire team. You can see flankers coming from anywhere. It's the key position to hold, right? Especially because there's a health pack here as well. That's super important. So especially in standard, that's going to be your big one. And then in snipers, not a lot changes here. Just, you know, be more wary of walls, right? So like instead of out here in the open like this, you know, you maybe want to be holding here, or you'd want to be holding back here on this health pack. Just generally keeping yourself safe so you're not just getting your head taken off, but still allowing you to get this super important line of sight on the enemy team, right? This will still allow you to get your antis. This will still allow you to get your sleeps. You'll still be able to see anyone coming, right? But let's say a widow peeks you from here or here, right? If you're in this orange spot, they can see you for sure, right? With this LOS. But if you're more towards the stairs here, you'll still get this LOS, but now they can't take your head off for free, right? So biggest thing that I can recommend when playing this map is just be wary and think about the enemy team comp. Enemy team comp is shown at 45 seconds, I believe. Or no, that's for regular maps. For control, it's with 15 seconds left till the point unlocks. Don't quote me on that though. I could be a little bit off. But just know when the enemy team comp appears, right? When you press tab, look at the enemy team comp, say, okay, this is what they have, this is what I need to be wary of, this is when I'm going to have to rotate between these two. It's like, okay, they have a widow now I need to rotate over to this little blue spot, to this area, instead of just holding out in the open here. So just make sure you're very wary at all times of what the enemy team has, and just constantly be pressing tab in case someone changes, right? Because, you know, you may start out in a standard position, but guess what? Halfway through the map, they switch to widow, and suddenly you're not so comfy, and you can just get your head taken off immediately, right? So I think that's going to be it from me. That should cover all three of the maps, I believe. I tried to keep this one shorter. I know I like to ramble a bit, so that's why I almost felt kind of rushed. But I want to keep this short and sweet for you guys. So yeah, this is going to be Nepal. And that's going to be it from me, guys. So I hope you have a good day, and I will see you all later.